up online. So first of all, hello and welcome to SWPA's pre-tender engagement webinar for our upcoming Windows and Doors framework. I'm not going to say too much at this stage as I'll be handing over to Paul Dawson, who's our Group Technical Manager for LHC, and I don't want to steal any of his thunder. After Paul's presentation, there will be the opportunity for any questions anyone may have, or alternatively, you can contact either myself or Paul directly. Our details will be sent out afterwards. After we've gone through the new framework information and any of the questions, we'll be handing over to Chris Thomas from YTKO, who'll be speaking about new project to provide funded support to SMEs in the Devon region to encourage the use of digital technologies. So without further ado, I will hand over to Paul, and whilst I'm doing so, I will get the presentation. Bear with me.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Paul Dawson. I'm the group, or one of the group technical managers at LHC, and I look after the components for my sins. I work alongside another chap called Tony Woods, who looks after construction frameworks. And there is my presentation. So today we're just going to look at the doors and windows framework, which is due for launch in the mid part of next year. So we're putting together the documentation and the requirements at this moment in time. So what I'll do is I'll go through the framework with you. Certain elements may change. They're probably unlikely to change at this late date, but it will give you an overview as to exactly what we're looking for, the process that you need to go through, and the requirements that we're looking for. So to cover all of those, I've got the introduction. I've got a bit about Supplier, which is our Southwest Procurement Alliance, the regional unit, the timetable that we're looking for this framework, the scope of services, procurement route, performance from any applicants. We look at the weighting for the evaluation. It's a little bit on how to set out the pricing. Appointment requirements. So once you're appointed onto the framework, what does it mean? How we call off, or how clients call off projects from the framework. And then at the end is, of course, the cost, which no one likes to talk about, but unfortunately there is a cost. So if I can have the next slide. So a bit about LHC to start off with. And LHC is a not-for-profit public sector consortium with regional business units scattered around the nations of England. We offer compliant, tendered and evaluated products, services and contractors. We're used by over 130 public sector organisations, and we offer technical procurement and support for built environment products and contracts. Next slide. So the purpose of Supplier and LHC is essentially through improved procurement to deliver better homes and buildings to enhance local communities. We're very focused on the local aspect. Benefits, so obviously we offer the compliance, a procurement route. So you've kind of from the legal angle, we comply with that. The financial gains of size of the projects, volumes of projects over the 4 years that the framework runs. We have recognised technical expertise for the frameworks that we offer, and it's a fast and efficient procurement method because we've pre-vetted contractors and applicants. Next slide. Heritage, so we were formed back in 1966, so we've got many years of expertise in the field. We do offer ongoing project support, so from conception through to completion, essentially we can offer support. We've got obviously the commitment to better homes and buildings, and the frameworks do offer a degree of flexibility. Next slide. Volume of turnover. So this is not just for the Southwest alone. This is the volume of turnover for LHC as a group. And if you go back over the last kind of 10 years, 2011 was 60 million. and essentially kind of pre-COVID was 347 million. So we are growing quite steadily all the time. So what benefits do we offer the members and suppliers? Obviously, financial gains, volume, fast and efficient procurement. As we've already said, commitment to better homes and buildings, recognized technical expertise from not only the local, regional technical people and business units, but also the central team, and knowledge and experience of procurement and technical services. Next slide. So Swapper Southwest Procurement Alliance, I have an office in Exeter, and the LHC group, which is the kind of group office, is based in Uxbridge in West London. Next slide. The windows and doors framework is broken into various work streams. So the work stream is a product, essentially. We have 3 products on the work streams. We have UPVC products and we have timber products. Timber comprises standard timber and also aluminium clad timber. So for the UPVC work stream, which is on the map that's illustrated, we have 4 geographical areas. We do acknowledge that some areas are harder to service than others. Hence, it's broken down into the 4 parts there. When we come to timber products, the timber products are for the whole of the area. So it will just be the UKK area, which is the whole of the Southwest with regards to timber. The reason being is because the timber kind of supply structure, if you like, and the manufacturers work slightly different to those of the PVC persuasion. Next slide, please. So this is the guide timetable. We're still on track for this. Pre-tender engagement we've kind of completed, although it's still extended through now. Document development we're kind of finalizing at this moment in time. So that's the invitation to tender documents. They're due to be issued in the early to mid part of next month. The returns are due for early 2022, so that'll be kind of mid to late January 2022. They need to be back. Then we'll start to look at the evaluations, which is the due diligence on the financial services, and then we look through to how you perform with regards to price and quality. Because these are components we look at, we've got site visits there. Site visits will be factory visits. So we look at the factories where components are assembled to ensure compliance with any standards, especially loss prevention standards, etc., enhanced security. So we just look at compliance with those. The award confirmation is due for June next year. And then the framework is due to go live 1st of July 2022. Next slide. So we're looking for on the scope, we're looking for manufacture, supply and installation of door and window systems in UPVC, timber and aluminium clad across the 3 work streams. We're looking for organisations to have the capability of overseeing design, supply and installation of those products. And we do include a maintenance and service option for the clients, which would be outside of our framework, but we like to have that in place should the client wish to take up a maintenance package. There's also additional scope in this for sustainable window products. So we're looking at enhancing U values. We're probably all aware that the document L, energy efficiency, is changing and will be shortly issued. So our energy efficiency requirements will be included in the applications in order that we can continue to comply with energy standards as they move on. We also look at durability and life costing, hence the introduction now of the aluminium clad timber. Security specifications, we're looking at loss prevention standards and PAS 24. We're looking for SBD, so secure by design certifications and registration on the schemes. There are minimum product installation guarantees required. Also option for insurance-backed guarantees if requested by the client. And as we said previously, service and maintenance package availability. Next slide. So the work streams. Workstream 1 is PVC windows and doors with enhanced performance options. Workstream 2 is the kind of traditional standard timber windows and doors, again with the enhanced performance options. And then Workstream 3 is the new timber composite, which is aluminium clad windows and doors with the same requirements for enhanced U values. The styles, it's a completely comprehensive range of styles that we wish to offer on a framework. So it's for windows, fixed, side hung, top hung, fully reversibles, verticals, sliding sashes, etc. And then with regards to doors, we're looking at single leaf residential doors, both for the front and rear, and then also French, patio and bifold doors. Bidders can apply for more than one work stream. There's no restriction on that. And next slide. So we're looking for, we've got the U values at the moment of 1.3 or better for the U values. We do have a requirement to enter prices for better options than that, which will include passive house standards. And as I say, we are aware that the document L is changing. Our 1.3 U value is superior to the document L already. So we're kind of pushing in that area. The U values for doors, we're looking at 1.8 or better, which is essentially the current Part L, but we are aware that is also possibly going to change. We're looking at sustainability, recycling. We always look for evidence of recycling and sustainability. We're also looking for that throughout the complete supply chain. So that's from the raw product right the way through to the manufacturing, through to the end of life. Evidence will always be via third-party independent accreditations, which can be audited, and that will be for a complete range of sizes of windows, not as the industry standard for a specific size as a sample. We do require that evidence across the whole range. Next slide. So procurement, it's an open procedure. We've essentially gateways. So what we do when we get the bids back, we look at the financial status of the organizations. Once you pass that, we then look at the accreditation and compliance, what documents you have in place, and whether they're third party and auditable. And then finally, we go into the quality and pricing elements. There's a project created on our Pro Contract, which is our e-portal or e-tendering portal, where all the questions and answers and information will be provided. That just enables us to manage clarification responses across to everyone who's interested. We're keen to promote the opportunity to local organisations and particularly SMEs within the local area. And the bidders will be encouraged to emphasise this regional approach and your regional activities. So that's what you're spending in the area, how you service the area, local labour, etc. When we look at the evaluation, we use a weighting, which is 70% on quality and 30% on price, which makes up the 100% in total. We're always biased on quality over price, but the bidders must achieve a minimum of 50% on the quality score when the bid comes in. We offer higher weighting, as we've already mentioned, for the regional ability. So bidders must be encouraged to emphasize their regional approach activities, and always evidence examples will gain higher markings. We look at social value, social inclusion, and obviously certification for sustainability and environmental aspects. Schedule of rates, this is kind of a draft that we're putting together. It's changed slightly from that, but it will give you an example. So we have a product and a labour cost. So we have a size of in this instance, a size of a window. We'll have various sizes for that window with heights, widths, and then we'll have an associated installation cost to go with that. The costing will also be broken down, as you can see, into numbers of installations. We're quite keen that some organisations are less attracted to smaller projects. So we've given them the ability to put in higher prices for smaller projects. So is it still worthwhile them coming out to undertake work on those projects? We've also got on there the U values. So as I've said earlier, Windows are 1.3 is standard, but we've got additional costs for the sliding scale of better performing Windows, which will be included in that cost sheet. Next slide. We're looking at component costs, which won't be included in our overall evaluation, but this is for price validations. So component costs will be kind of handles, hinges, etc., spare parts. But overall, the assessment of the pricing is broken down into schedule of rates, the profit and overheads that the organisation puts on as a percentage. We look at preliminary costs, which are essentially site setup, security, welfare, etc. We look at other management costs and third party, which may be for listed building, conservation areas, specialist contractors for certain items. We also give, as you've seen before in the UPVC, we've got the 4 regions or the 4 areas within the Southwest. So there is an opportunity to put an uplift in for a harder to service area or somewhere where your home location is further away from. And then we look at the evidence warranty. So we look at a life cycle costing scenario as part of the evaluation, but we would like to see evidence warranty of your products. Next slide. Appointments, we're looking to appoint 6 to 8 companies per work stream per lot or area. Bidders can apply for all lots. The reason we have 6 to 8 is that we have enough suppliers should a client wish to choose or wish to go through a mini competition option, but they can also do a direct award if they choose not to do the mini competition. Financial requirements, generally we're looking at a turnover at least twice the typical value for projects, and at the moment this is 175,000, so we're looking for a turnover of £350,000. We also look for 3 years of financial accounts, just to kind of underpin the company's stability, if you like. So the due diligence, we look at the financial standing, we look at the accreditations and compliance, and then as stated earlier, we go through the quality and pricing elements. Insurances, so we're looking at the minimum insurances, and it must be noted that some local authority clients may require higher levels of cover, but these are the minimum for the framework. Employers liability 5 million, public liability 5 million, professional indemnity is 1 million, product liability is 2 million. There is a note about indemnity, as some suppliers are saying that they don't need it, but we still have the requirement for £1 million worth of indemnity. Next slide. We're also looking for mandatory evidence of environmental management. So we put their UCAS accredited or equivalent. We're looking for quality management, again, UCAS accredited or equivalent. And of course, health and safety, UCAS accredited or equivalent. And they must be third party audited. An equivalent on there for the health and safety would be schemes such as the SSIP, which is the procurement one. Next slide. These are desirable. Products must be tested, so security products must be tested to standards such as LPS 1197 or PAS 24, secure by design evidence. It's desirable to have BBA certifications, BSI certifications for your project, for your products, and your installers to be members of competent person schemes, such as we put their Fencer, CERTAS, are just a couple of examples. We also like membership of trade associations is beneficial, such as Trustmark, Energy Saving Trust, Glass and Glazing Federation, etc. And then the others, we've got UKCA. UKCA is will be applicable to some of the products. Recover Vinyl is a recycling scheme for UPVC. They're just examples, it's not an exhaustive list. We're expecting you to evidence the warranties and guarantees that are offered. And as a minimum, we're looking for the door, leaf frame and glazing is 10 years, gaskets weatherproofing 5 years, any vandal resistant products 5 years, paints and stains on timber would be 3 years, general hardware items 10 years, and parts availability from the discontinuation of the product would be 10 years also. Call off procedure. So how does a client call off from this? So it'll either be via a mini competition, which will be between the appointed companies on the lot, direct award through selected criteria. Clients can use any of their chosen contracts, such as JCT, NEC, their bespoke, whichever ones that they choose to use. And then we look at KPIs throughout the duration of the framework. We especially look at, obviously, time, cost, quality, and social value. And next slide. So again, just a recap, LHC is not-for-profit public sector organisation. The costs for the framework are 5%. The levy is included in the rates. So when you enter the rates into the pricing schedule, your levy should be included. And we do have an annual rate review, which is linked in with kind of general construction rates, if you like. All invoices are sent to the client and uploaded to our portal by the company. We invoice company 30 days. There's no application or annual fees other than that, purely the time it takes to fill in the tender documentation. And we only cover our costs if the framework is successful. The next slide. That's the end of the short and brief presentation with regards to windows and doors. My details there under the LHCs is paul.dawson@lhc.gov.uk, or contact your regional representatives in SWAPA, which is Emily Bull or Kay Willis. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Paul. Do we have any questions? I'll just stop sharing a minute. Oh, wrong one. I'm not used to using Zoom. I'm used to using.
I got a question. I found one. Just popped up. So
right.
Look.
Stop share. There we go. That's better.
Someone needs to mute their mic.
Is that what's? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, any questions from anyone? I don't think so. You can pop them in the chat if you do have any. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. Like I said, do get in touch with us directly. I think I forgot to say I'm the technical support manager for the Southwest, so I'd be your main point of contact if you've got anything regionally that you want to speak about. No problem at all. All good, thank you. So, oh, that's good. Nobody's got any questions by the sounds of it. So what I will do now is I will hand you over to Chris Thomas from YTKO, and yeah, he can explain what he's here for.
Thank you very much, Kay, and thank you for having me here today. Paul, wonderful presentation. I wish I could match your presentation with some slides, but instead I've opted just to jot down a few notes in front of me and talk with all of the wonderful viewers and attendees today. So YTKO, best described, or I like to describe it as one of those amazing organizations that hides behind an acronym. So scratch beneath the surface and you'll find a great big list of offerings that all contribute quite a significant amount of benefit to our society. One such offering is Building Growth Southwest, and within Building Growth Southwest there are 2 projects. So I'm going to just touch on the first one very, very quickly. So Workforce for the Future, or WFTF, not WTF, like I was going to say. That's a very different meaning. Although if you ever find yourself thinking about modern methods of construction and think to yourself, WTF, then actually this is could well be the project for you. So whereas for the future, if you find yourself located, or if you're registered in Bristol, South Gloucestershire, North Somerset, Bath, North East Somerset areas, then this project provides fully funded training for modern methods of construction. So worth checking out, and I believe some links are going to be shared at a later time as well. But my primary focus today is on the DESME project. So DESME stands for Digital Enablement for Small and Medium Enterprises. So the DESME project, I think the best way to understand the DESME project is to take a look at why it exists. So I've jotted down a few notes. So back in 2018, the Lloyd's Business Index, they highlighted that 84.5 billion is being lost to the UK economy through 42% of small and medium enterprises not actually having enough or having the important digital skills. And to add to this, we know that 95% of the construction sector is made up of micro businesses and sole traders. So it's a big problem, and we're starting to understand that problem a little bit more. In fact, a more detailed review tells us that the construction sector has some of the lowest levels of digital skills, second only, I believe, to agriculture. And yeah, so there's a lot of scope for improvement. In fact, it's fair to say that statistically, a lot of people watching this and with us today watching this are likely to be in need of digital skills being improved. So how does the DESME project actually work? Well, it takes 5 key skills that have been identified. For example, managing information. So that could be things like GDPR. And very often when you think of the General Data Protection Act, you might associate it with computers and handling data, but actually that can be offline as well, in physical format, writing customer details down on a notepad. Once you've done that, if you take a customer's number, for example, write it down, you are legally responsible to protect that data and ensure it doesn't end up in the wrong hands. So managing information in a digital sense is taking data and securing it for your customers and indeed for yourself. We look at digital communication. And that could be as simple as getting, well, you're all familiar with mobile phones. I'm sure you have a smartphone. You're all likely to be making phone calls every single day. You probably send the occasional SMS text message. Maybe you're super posh and you've connected your email to your smartphone as well, so you can answer emails on the go. Brilliant. You're kind of halfway there. But as far as smartphones go, they are supercomputers. If you sort of think back to not so many years back. In fact, a little fun fact for you for your next pub quiz. If you consider the Apollo rocket, for example, that landed humans on the moon, the memory processing available to the onboard computer was less than your washing machine. So your smartphone is, in comparison, a supercomputer. So the DESME project will help you to get the most out of that investment. We take a look at creating. Very often this could be as simple as engaging more with your customers online. Maybe your business, you have a preferred type of job and you'd like to do more of that work. So the DESME project can help you create content or how to and help you engage with customers. So you would have the option to choose more of that work. Marketing. And finally, the fifth part of DESME looks at problem solving. What I like to see it is digital independence. In my 42 years of being a human being, I'm very familiar that the vast majority of people don't like to ask for help, and very often would learn the hard way, or worse, just go without completely. So the DESME project looks to ensure that you are digitally independent, so that you can adapt your business through digital resources and tools, and prepare yourself as the world changes. So that's kind of how the DESME project actually works. The next question would be, how do you get involved? And quite simply, you just need to visit the website and leave an inquiry there. And from that point, we would make, I like to call it a consultation, you might want to call it a workshop. And it's a chance, an opportunity for me to review your business and understand exactly what it is you need. And then the best bit is DESME is then tailored to your needs. Part of that process also includes a assessment matrix. So we work out where you are in your skill set at the moment, so you don't end up having to relearn everything and your time that is given to the DESME project is rewarded and valuable to you. And that's pretty much the crux of the DESME project. Nice and quick. I don't want to overstay my welcome here today. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask, and I'll be happy to answer them now. No, it's looking good. Well, I'll put a few links into the chat box there, and that takes you across to the Building Growth Southwest website, and you can learn more about Workforce for the Future, as well as the DESME project as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Chris. Okay, so we did have one question, I'm sorry, but I did answer it. Somebody asked about tilt and turns, though not mentioned. Are they covered? Yes, they are covered. I did pop that question answer in the chat. So does anybody else have any further questions? If not, there will be a follow-up sent out, which will have all our details on. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with any of us should you have any questions. So don't think anything else is coming in. It's very quiet out there. Are you happy with that, Chris and Paul? Anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, it's fine. I was expecting a couple of questions, but like as you say, tilt and turns are covered. That's the only question we had.
Okie dokie. All right, well, all that's left to say is thank you ever so much, Chris. Thank you, Paul. Very informative. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.